Good day, everyone. Carlos Bastardo with American Insurance Brokers and AIB Financial. Today, I want to go over just a little bit of information with you. Some things that a lot of people actually don't even think about when they get close to retirement, a few years out, especially when insurances are involved, and especially when Medicare is involved. It's very, very, very important. So I'd like to share just a few things here with you briefly, visual, so that you kind of understand what I'm talking about. And this is a slide I put together to help illustrate a few things for you, and it's called Retiring into Medicare. Now, there are some very important decisions that people have to make when they get close to retirement. And a lot of that stems around, of course, other than taxes and financial, it's going to be, health insurance and Medicare. Am I retiring at a young age where I don't qualify for, Medicare and I have to go on health insurance until then? Or am I retiring at the right time when either I am available for Medicare or I'm already past the Medicare age? So these are a couple of very important issues that people have to think about when they get ready to retire. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't getting this type of information in one place. It has to be pieced together. Another important area are IRA conversions and IRA conservation. They're two different things, but they're very important. Conversion and conservation, what we like to call the safe money approach. I'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. Another important area are taxes in retirement, right? We did some retirement planning years ago to kind of get to where we want to be in the future. Now that future has arrived, but have we done proper tax planning? Is it too late to do proper tax planning? And again, no, right? If you're getting ready to retire in a few years, you've still got time to put yourself in a position to have a good tax plan in place, right? Debt is another important area. What kind of debt do you have? What will you be looking at when you retire? What kind of money will you need to handle your current debt? If you have a mortgage on your home, a lot of time folks want to cash out part of their IRA to pay off their home. I understand what they're thinking, what the concept is. However, they're putting themselves in a tough position. And you'll understand what I mean here in a moment, right? By the time I see a lot of these folks, they've already done this and it's too late. We can't unravel it at that point. And my comment to them is, man, I wish I would have been able to talk to you before you did what you did before retirement. Another important area is surviving spouse income protection. This is one of the very hot topics. If you're a man like me, you know most likely that your spouse, if you're married, is going to, and your wife is going to outlive you. So most men are concerned that if something happens to them, that their wife, their spouse can continue, or significant other can continue to go on and financially support themselves. That's extremely important. Also, estate planning is important. Why is estate planning important? Sometimes I bring this up to clients and they say, well, I don't have millions of dollars that I need to worry about protecting. No, but what you do have, it's important to make sure you have a proper estate plan. I see families all the time get ripped apart. Just most recently, I can name a couple different families where somebody died. They didn't have a whole lot, but they had a home and a couple of other assets. And brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, you name it, everybody's fighting for their little slice of the pie because it wasn't planned properly as far as what the person's wishes were before they died, right? So it's very important to do proper estate planning. Another one that most people don't think about is the potential for long-term care, right? That's become also another thing that's important today is making sure that, God forbid something happened and you did have to go into an institution, Are you going to have money to do that? Are you going to have to get rid of all your assets and do Medicaid spend down first? So those are very important areas that people don't normally have a conversation about. All right. Now, let's talk about folks who are getting ready to retire into Medicare. That means you're turning 65 and you're going to be going on Medicare right when you retire, or maybe you're a little bit older and you just suspended Medicare Part B because you had group health insurance and now you're getting ready to retire. I don't know how many times this comes up to be an issue for many, many of the Medicare clients that I help, right? So when we're looking at putting plans and programs together for them, we've got great pricing on product, we've got everything in place, but then all of a sudden I get a phone call and they're like, man, we got everything set. Why am I getting this bill for $454 a month? Right? And then they're mad and they're upset and they don't understand it. Well, there is this gal in the Medicare space called Irma. Nobody likes Irma. Sorry if your name's Irma out there, but Irma, IRMAA, right, is an income related monthly adjustment amount. This amount is based on your last 2 years of earnings, right? Last 2 years of earning. So, for example, let's say as a married couple, you earned $350,000 the last 2 years, right? Great incomes, right? But you're getting ready to retire, and now you decide, okay, we've got our debt paid off. We don't need a bunch of extra stuff. We can take our early Social Security or take our Social Securities and just live off of that and just let our IRAs and our monies build, right? And now their incomes goes from $350,000 a year down to maybe 60 between the two of them, right? 60, 70,000. And now, since they earned $350,000 on average the last 2 years of their working years, now instead of paying the normal $174.70 a month for Medicare Part B, now they're going to pay $454.20 a month a piece, right? Per person. So if they're both retiring, both going on Medicare at the same time, and their household income was 350,000, now you're looking at $900 a month between the two of them that they're paying for Medicare Part B. That's before having any other plans in place. A lot of folks don't know about this. They don't realize this, right? And by the time I'm able to get information to them, it's too late. That's why it's important to do proper planning, right? It's not just about financial planning anymore. It's about financial, insurance, tax, estate, and Medicare planning. A lot of these things go hand in hand and they're extremely important. So let's rewind. And now let's say I have somebody who's maybe 5 years out from retiring. And then they come and see me and say, hey, Carlos, I'm going to be retiring in 3 to 5 years. What do I need to know, right, before I retire? What are the important things to understand? Well, one of the big things I'm going to tell them is, listen, if you got 3 years left, if you work your butt off for one more year and you were to go to part-time or downsize your income the last 2 years, would you guys be in good shape? Well, yeah. We got our debt paid off. We've got this handled. We got that handled. If I'm making 40,000 a year versus 180, I'm used to more money, but we can live off of that until, the 2 years comes. So it might be a great idea to maybe consider going part-time before fully retiring and going on Medicare. Okay. If you don't have that buffer of time. That way it'll bring your joint income down, right? The goal is to get that income down the last 2 years so that you don't have to have Miss Irma show up on your doorstep and give you a bill. I have one client that was, one of many. There's quite a few out there, but one in particular last year that went on Medicare and got a bill for $594. And he's like, what the heck is this? And I explained it to him, and he had a hard time understanding, was not very happy about it, but um, it is what it is, right? So again, proper planning prior to going into Medicare and into insurance. And similarly, it's kind of important too going into health insurance because, right now with Marketplace, it's based on income, although it's for the current year. So there's not as much planning needed for that, but it's at least important to have a conversation about that. Okay. Retirement plan services, right? Strategies that we can help you with, right? So everybody and their brother has access to a financial advisor, right? There's one on every street corner, right? You've got the same advisor company or group, there's heck, I think 4 or 5 of them in this town that work for the same company. So financial advisors are all over the place. And I want you to understand something. I'm not talking bad about financial advisors. I have financial advisors who are friends and acquaintances, and they're not bad people. That's not, I want to clear the deck up front. That's not my intention when I make this particular statement, right? But here's what I want you to understand, right? I want you to think about this. Would you ask your primary care physician to clean your teeth or pull a tooth? Right? Kind of a funny question, right? Kind of a dumb question, but that's the exact response you would get from your doctor if you say, "Hey, doc, while I'm in your office and and you're doing my checkup and giving me an exam, can you clean my teeth or pull this rotten tooth out for me?" You're going to get that kind of response, right? And then on the other hand, would you ask your hygienist to perform your open heart surgery? And that's definitely the kind of response you're going to get from him or her, right? Right. So you wouldn't ask the wrong doctor to perform the improper procedure for you, especially if your life depended on it, like heart surgery, right? So right, what makes us unique? Well, we're a two-in-one solution. That is, first of all, American Insurance Brokers has been helping clients with health and Medicare solutions for over 30 years. Coming up March will be 31 years that I've been in this industry. We work with all or just about most of all the providers that are um, in your area, in your given area, which allows us to truly help you make the best options based on your needs because we have those companies to work with. And AIB Financial is a subsidiary of American Insurance Brokers and was formed due to the high demands of my clients, quite necessary, right? So I have a lot of clients over the years, and a lot of clients maybe didn't get the right advice or had no advice or nobody to help them. So I decided years ago to get involved and grow our practice to include helping folks out with some of the financial decisions out there that are very important, especially in retirement, right? So we have the tools to help with seamless transition and retirement solutions that can help keep your money instead of potentially losing it, right? What do I mean by that? Well, the same tools used to get you to retirement are not the same tools that should be used to help you actually retire. Okay. So financial advisors, for the most part, their job is to help put a plan in place to help you get to retirement. They're the hammer during the early years while you're working. So while you're working and contributing to your retirement, you can afford market losses, market corrections, crashed economies. Why? Because you have time to recover. But when you do retire, right, we can't use the hammer anymore, right? You can't afford market losses, market corrections. You can't afford crashed economies. Well, why? Because you're no longer contributing to your retirement account and time is extremely limited. Not only that, you may be taking money from your retirement accounts. So now you're losing money in your account, you're taking money out at the same time. Now you're looking at a mass depletion of your retirement in a lot faster than what you intended it to be. So where our practice is important is we help people that are ready to retire now. Okay. So how can I help you? How can I help you? Number one, I offer private and confidential consultations. And anybody in this town or any of my clients that I've ever worked with can tell you that they have complete confidence in that anything they share with me will never get shared with anybody else, of course. I know that's some concerns for folks that live in a small town, is that their information is going to be in jeopardy. Um, my wife can't even get information out of me about family members that do business with me when it comes to certain things. Not that I would share that, but it's about integrity and confidentiality. Okay. Strategic planning and advice. Again, strategizing what to do, when to do it at the right times, and having the proper tools to do that. Insurance/financial planning, because they go hand in hand, right? You have to have the right financial strategies to ensure you're going to be okay when it comes to getting your insurances, like we talked about with Irma, and vice versa, right? Having the proper insurances in place to have a successful financial planning. So that's where we have the 1-2 combo when it comes to advising somebody at retirement time. Medicare preparation, as we talked about before, making sure you're going to be in a better position to where you're not going to pay a ton towards Irma, right? Making sure you have access to the best products and services that are available out there in the market today. And most important, well, it's not the most important thing, but no fees ever, right? So we're going to help you with all of these things mentioned, and you never, ever, ever have to pay me a fee. I'm not going to send you a bill. I'm not going to charge you for my time. And a lot of times I'll get people to say, well, if you don't charge, how do you make money? If you don't charge me, how do you make money? Well, it's very simple. The products and providers and services that I recommend to help folks, right? I get paid from those providers and services. So it's it's beneficial on both sides because I'm not charging you any money. I'm helping you with sound financial planning and advice and products, and you're not paying a dime for those services. Okay. So if you feel that you would at least like to get together and have a conversation about these things, I'm more than welcome to book a private and confidential consultation with you. You can feel free to give me a call or text me. It's my personal cell phone number, 574-529-3099. Or you can visit me at our website at www.aibins.net or www.aibadvisor.com. It's up to you. It's up to your future, but I would love to help be a part of making sure you have a sound financial plan. Have a great day, and God bless.